Thought Life. A new day is dawning. No longer do we have to settle for less. When we demand more of ourselves and think with an elevated purpose, we'll embrace the positives, reject the negatives, so we can live a much more purpose-driven, meaningful life. Thought Life. Now's the time, let's elevate our minds. Make wise decisions that are right. 'Cause responsible thinking will lead us from darkness and into the light. Haunting thoughts of doubt and pain and despair, it weighed me down. But resilience stirred up, and then my strength it came around. With every new step we're taking, fear just fades away. The path to redemption takes me to a higher place. Now's the time, let's elevate our minds. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, y'all, to another episode of Thought Life Radio. Welcome. I would like to thank Rainier Avenue Radio for giving me this platform. It's really glad it's the number three show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And I'm really hoping that you hear something that will spark your interest and to challenge yourself to really take a fresh look at the way you're thinking and see if there's a better way for you to think. That's basically the premise of this program. My name is Bradley Fishookz Caldwell, and I'm really glad that you showed up. I want to thank you for showing up and giving me some of your time. My number one purpose is to reach out to you in the best way I can, because I was very problematic thinker of myself, and in order to be something better, I had to do something different. I had to think something different, and so this show is a great. I want to thank Rainier Avenue Radio big time for allowing me to follow my vision and to try and help other people not be victims of their thinking and to think on a higher level and to be able to reap the benefits of the investments that it takes and the commitment it takes to be a better thinker. So with no further ado, I want to get right in. If you have any questions or anything else like that you'd like to direct towards me and the Thought Life program, I have an email. It's at thoughtlife206@gmail. Feel free to send me some questions you might have about the show, about anything that you might be having difficulty with, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I'm not a social worker or a counselor. I've just been I've been working on myself for quite a long time so that I don't be a victim of my own thinking, and I can share with you my experiences, and maybe I could shine the light and give you a different perspective on how things actually, how I've been able to evolve from that childlike mentality, because the one thing I discovered is that a lot of times we just become a passenger in life. You know what I mean? I'm just speaking my own experience, and I'm just a collective of all the episodes, painful episodes, good episodes, bad episodes. You know what I'm saying? And the scars that come along with learning life, and childhood, the way I was, you know, I mean, it's just kind of like I never grew up until I had to. There was a lot of pain that came along with living an immature life, and not all of us suffer from the same mental anguish and pains and scars of the past, but we all have to recover from something, whether it be an uncomfortable childhood. We all didn't have this perfect role models that were around us to show us the way. We kind of had to figure it out on our own as we got older. And a lot of times we get we learn a lot of misinformation by misinformed people. And I was one of those people who just kind of like I was a follower. You know what I mean? I just kind of like gravitated towards people who I thought were cool. You know what I mean? In the beginning, as a teenager, and when I hang around those people, what happened for me was that I do what they do. I'm focused on what they're focused on, and my main objective is to fit in and to actually uh, show loyalty to the people and the lifestyle by doing what they do. And it took me to some real dark places. And I can't tell you how it affected you. I can only tell you how it affected me. Is that I made some decisions based on self and how I thought, because from a very young age, I was driven by my thoughts, what I thought about life, what I thought about myself, and they drove me in certain areas that, um, for instance, feeling like a victim. My parents got divorced at a young age, which created a huge void in my identity as a son. Now I have to choose, who do I want to live with. I'm just giving you an example. At 11 years old, now you're faced with some grown choices that I have to make that I'm really ill equipped to make as a child. And so the list goes on, man, of how life shows up and I'm not equipped to deal with it in a responsible manner. I run from responsibility as a child. All I want is comfort, and I'm gonna get it no matter what it takes. You know what I mean? And so the reason why I say that is that defeating mindsets are built by just pursuing pleasure and wanting to feel good by at any means necessary. Um, and so where it drove me personally was to drugs and alcohol. My That's not everybody's story. This is my story, and so I'm just sharing from my experience. Is that drugs and alcohol comforted me in a way that I needed to be comforted, and the need to escape how I felt was always there. So irresponsibility went along with that lifestyle. And the more I drink and the more I drug, the more I want to drink and the more I want to drug. And so this this thought life is not really tuned into drug addicts and alcoholics, but it does help. It does help. Being aware and being honest with yourself that you have some problems is a great starting point of every elevation to life. And I posed a question to a friend of mine, um, Andre Taylor. He's a very close friend of mine, and we grew up together, and we had all been in certain lifestyles. And I asked him the questions. You know, uh, I asked him. I said, let's see. How you I asked him, I said, how did you change your mindset to become a powerful leader and a role model in your family and the community and maintain a productive mindset and have become a permanent way of thinking? And what he told me is that I learned that the mind I was operating from was like a child and young man was and a young man was a program. It was a program way of thinking. And the program is not set for him to be a conqueror over the oppressors. And then I asked him, what made you aware of your limitations and what drove you to be committed to becoming the man you are today. And he told me, these are Andre's words, new information outside of what the country offers. For instance, the country promotes the American dream as a means of happiness. And he had to learn to reject that idea because it makes you a consumer and not teaches you to be unhappy if you don't get what the system teaches you to make you happy. That's a lie. And I can relate to what he was saying because, the world is going to force feed you some misinformation about what the American dream is and like how you're going to attain that. And I can relate to him where he talks about being a consumer. You know what I mean? All we are is consumers in the big picture. And what that does is that it puts me in the mindset, from watching TV, from watching everything else, is that I am a consumer. I am not a valued asset. You know what I mean? And I can look at that and say, because I'm surrounded by a bunch of other consumers and I'm not really around people who are aware of what's really going on, you know what I mean? I can easily fall in line with that consumer mindset and how that limits my own ability to become an actual leader in my own life. Because to each person, you have to be true to yourself. You know what I mean? Where are you working from? What are you telling yourself about yourself? Are you even paying attention to like what's going on in your head, or are you just surviving? Thought life is an invitation for you to take a fresh look at your mind and your mindset, and what boundaries you have, what boundaries you don't have, what you accept into your mind, what you say to yourself about yourself. And a lot of times we're living with limited beliefs. And those limited beliefs keep us limited because we subscribe to what's comfortable, what's familiar. And even though it doesn't challenge us in ways that we need to be challenged to be better human beings, we ride with it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, I'm here today to open your eyes and your minds to see clearly the path to intentional thinking. Our thoughts and beliefs are what make us who we are. And we're all survivors. You know what I mean? And none of us are really victims unless you think like a victim. And what I've discovered about being a Black man in America is that since it is Black History Month, I think I'll go down this road so that you can actually get a glimpse of the Black experience. Is that what I see with my eyes and what I see and what I hear at a young age, because I grew up out in Bellevue, Washington, and I was called nigger every day. You know, I was exposed to racism, and my dad was he was trying to give us better opportunities, and I didn't understand that because what I was thrust into was a world that people did not want me. And so by living in that, it created beliefs that I'm not wanted, I'm less than, and because I have a skin color that I have, I have to work twice as hard to be accepted, and that created something within myself, which was something I had, unhealthy ways of thinking are just adopted by what I see, what I hear, and how I respond to that stuff. And so, moving from Bellevue to Seattle, there was a different culture. There was a black culture, and a lot of people, I was around a lot of people who's like the white man's holding me down, and man, they had that syndrome. You know what I'm saying? And once you adopt unhealthy ways of thinking around a bunch of people who obviously are feeling victimized, and don't get me wrong, man, we come from slavery. We were victims of some major atrocities, and what I recognize today is that we don't have to carry on that and sit around and wait for the 40 acres and a mule to happen for us, but to do the one thing that allows us to even the playing field is to sharpen our minds. Nobody can tell me how to think. Nobody can make me, be a victim. Nobody has the power of limiting my own where I go in life or how I get there. You know what I mean? It all depends on what you choose to believe. And if you're not around a bunch of inspirational people, you could be around a bunch of uninspired people who are victims. And depending on who you hang around, it was brought to my attention that you'll never go any further than the people that you hang around. And I had to take a look at that. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a loyalty to people who were living certain lifestyles that I couldn't afford to live. Either I stay there and die or get locked up, or I branch out on my own and start seeking out the people that will inspire me to not be a victim, but to be the best version of myself. And that's important, for a person, a human being, is to actually start taking responsibility for your thoughts and how they play out in your life. Thought life is a golden opportunity for any person to actually, develop some discipline and not settle for what life is going to give you. See, there's a difference. I demand more of myself and less of the world. The only way that I show up and have any kind of say-so in life is that I have a sharp mind. My mind has to be sharp. You can't just feed me anything. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened for me was that I had to do a lot of work on me. And I'm still ongoing. I'm not sitting up here on this platform like I'm a finished product. I am under construction. The veil has been lifted. There's a lot of work that has to take place. I have to develop self-discipline and be incredibly committed to working on being a better thinker. And so I have to tell myself certain things about myself, and I have to have certain routines that reinforce that powerful belief system, because it doesn't happen by itself. Leaders are not built overnight. It's just something that they know that they want to be, and nothing and nobody's going to get in the way of that. Thought life is an opportunity for you to embark on a better way to think, a better way to think about yourself, a better way to take the limitations off of who you are and what your capabilities are. Because the only roadblocks that we have are old thinking and old beliefs that need to be replaced with something more expandable. And what I recognize is that I stopped labeling life a limited existence. Oh man, this is all life. This is all life's gonna give me, man. If you waiting around for life to hand you something, you're gonna get some gray fucking hairs. Oh, excuse me. You're gonna sit around. Excuse me. You're gonna sit around and you're gonna get some gray hairs waiting for something something better to happen. Forgive me for cussing. That's not something that's, I apologize. So I'm really passionate about not being a victim of life or a victim of my thinking. And it takes great focus, and it takes great development. It takes commitment. It takes a lot of things that most people just aren't willing to invest. And so, yeah, it's very important that I do that. And I want to build a community of better thinkers, because it benefits us as a whole, as a community. Because if we're all on the same page and we're all trying to be the best version of ourselves, we don't have time to be bickering about, our differences. Our differences is what separates us and will always separate us. It will never bring us together. The one thing that I know for sure that will bring us power is agreement. When we're in agreement, it's not no big me, little yous, and 1,000 chiefs trying to take over the show. It's that we agree that, hey, we need to be more one mind, one belief, one movement. It's a movement. You know what I mean? It's a thought life that is elevated. We're not afraid to take responsibility. And so when we do that, we start breaking down the barriers that get in the way of us being better people as a community. Singles, it's like there's power in numbers. We can't evolve. You know what I'm saying? We got so many groups that were ineffective. Got a group over here, group over here, group over there. We're talking about change, but change ain't happening because it's watered down. I've been watching people trying to do community movements and Black Lives Matter. The march happens. It's just like a fart. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's powerful in the moment, but then it fades away. Just like, they march, Martin Luther King march right in front of my house where I live. One time a year, thousands of people come together holding signs, talking about change. You know what I mean? That's a damn joke. The other 364 days of the year, you know what I'm saying? They're on some selfish, self-centered stuff that has nothing to do with making the dream a reality. And I call out people like that. You know what I mean? One day a year, you're talking about Martin Luther King. And then the rest of the year, you're not really emphasizing. I don't see it visibly. I don't hear it visibly. It's like, it's just like, it's all for show. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say, man, that there's a better way, man. And I do kind of go all over the place in this radio show because there is so many things internally and externally that we have working against us that we could be easily distracted from the most important thing that we need to do to become powerful in our own right. And that's get my own mind together. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. You get your own mind in order. And what happens is, somebody's going to see you talking a different way, thinking a different way, and that you're no longer a victim. It's not a popularity contest. You know what I'm saying? It's about the world and the community need leaders. So I'm going to do a quick commercial break for Rainier Avenue Radio. And it's called The Call to Conscious Black History Month Museum is open every day until Friday on the 29th, 28th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Get your tickets at a call to consciousness.world. And that's available to you, as you can see right here. Bam. There you go. Let me act like I'm holding that. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, man, get involved in the community. Thank Rainier Avenue Radio for their platform and being a huge part of the Black History Month celebrations and the recognizing of this month being Black History Month. I want to thank them very much for that. So I want to get back into self-accountability, self-awareness. First, what I've discovered and what I know for sure through my own experience is that I can't change something that I don't identify. I have to identify and be honest with myself and not in denial that there's room for improvement in my thinking. That the thinking that I've been working from is a childlike thinking. I'm a great employee. I can learn how to be a great employee. I can learn how to pay my bills on time. I can learn how to be all these things to survive. But those don't make me a better thinker. They make me a consumer. They make me the hamster in the hamster wheel of life. Go to work, pay your bills, take a shower, eat, go home, go to bed, wake up. It's the hamster wheel of life. And in between time, we make so much time for the development of entertainment. And we don't make the investment in our thinking. There's something wrong with that. Looking at it from the outside, there is nothing more important than investing in your own thought life so that you're not a victim of life and life is doing you. And it's like you're going to be surrounded by a bunch of people who are going to downgrade you and, because you want to be a better person. It's like a crab in a barrel type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? When you try and branch out to and move away from the boys in the hood and that mentality, you're not gonna do that without some resistance. You know what I mean? Oh, you think you're better than us? No, I've been here a long time, and it's a very limited existence. And when you find out that hanging around in the hood drinking 40 ounces in the year 2000, it's kind of outdated. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like bell bottoms and platforms. Some people still wear that shit. I mean, I'm not wearing it. You know what I mean? Because it's outdated. Slinkies and hula hoops, that stuff was back in the 80s. Flower power and all that. Yeah. Come on, man. Evolution is happening. Everything's happening. Everything's changing. So I need to change with it. Because the world is changing, I need to change. So that I can't be a doormat for life. That I can take charge and be a part. You know what I mean? I can do life instead of letting life do me. And that's the thing that's important for me to recognize. Is that if I be a settler, you know what I mean? Or bottom, you know what I mean? This is it. This is as good as life gets. No, that's not as good as life gets. That's a cop-out. A lot of us just settle for whatever's available. We don't choose to do anything better. Well, I'm hoping that you guys heard something, you know what I'm saying, that can inspire you to be a better person. I have all the literature, morning routine. I got all that. I got everything you need to start your road to becoming a better person. Literature, I have morning affirmations, I have all that information. So if you want some of that information, email me at thoughtlife206@gmail.com. It's right there. If you have questions or anything else like that, send them to me. and I'll answer your emails as soon as possible. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Bradley Fishookz Caldwell. Thank you for tuning in and participating. I love your participation, and the reason why I do Thought Life is to help people be the best version of themselves. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Rainier Avenue Radio, for another exciting episode of Addressing the Problem and Becoming Part of the Solution. So thanks for tuning in. God bless.